guys! So today I'm going to talk about 4 ways in which you can improve your relationship with other people. Now when I say relationships, I'm not only talking about romantic relationships with your spouse, but also relationship with other people like your family, friends, colleagues and even your roommates. So let's get started. The first way is to understand the love language of the other person. Now, Dr. Gary Chapman, in his book, The 5 Love Languages, says that every person has a love language, which is usually one of these 5 love languages. And if we communicate with that person in their language, they feel happier and loved. So, what are these 5 love languages? I've already spoken about them in the past, but I'm going to quickly cover it for everybody's understanding. So, the first is words of affirmation. These are basically appreciating the person and communicating and making them feel your love through the power of words. So, affirmations, encouragement, words of appreciation is what makes them feel loved. The second love language is quality time. As the name suggests, it is all about spending quality time with the other person. So, going for long walks together or even something as simple as watching TV together but giving undivided attention to the person and to the activity. The third love language is acts of service. So doing stuff, small things for the other person, like, let's say doing household chores together or, washing the car, things like that. The fourth love language is physical touch. So as the name suggests, it's about your body language and how you touch the other person. So, hugging the person, kissing and showing intimacy, or even with your body language. And the last love language is receiving gifts. So expressing your gratitude and love for the other person by giving them gifts. And not just any gifts, being very thoughtful about the gifts that you're giving to the person, keeping in mind the kind of things that you feel the person will like. So these are 5 love languages, and I feel it's very important for you to understand the other person's love language, but it's equally important to communicate your own to improve your relationship. So let's say for your mom, her love language could be, spending quality time together. So it could be, watching TV together or like having chai together, things like that. But for you, your love language could be acts of service, somebody doing something for you or doing household chores together. You enjoy things like that. So it's very important to identify the love language, not just of the other person, but also of yourself, and then communicating that. And eventually you will, when you are spending good amount of time with the person, you will eventually understand that person's love language and you'll be able to communicate to that person in their love language. The second thing, which is a continuation of this, is acknowledging the person. Now, there's a very thin line difference between acknowledgement and appreciation. And you might have observed this, that sometimes we do so much for the other person but we feel so unappreciated, or sometimes we see that someone else, like it could be even your partner or your parents who are like constantly craving for appreciation, and it kind of makes you feel irritated also, right? Because you're like, oh, this person wants me to continuously appreciate. But actually, this is something that I keep repeating, because I feel that this is something that a lot of people don't understand, is that what the other person is looking for is not appreciation but acknowledgement. Like I said, there's a very thin line difference. So appreciation could mean, so I'll give an example. Let's say you're staying with your roommates and you come home one day and you see that the kitchen is spick and span. It's completely cleaned, everything is at its place, it looks amazing. Now, appreciating could be complimenting the person, saying, wow, the kitchen looks amazing. But you can always acknowledge, and even that shows how much you care about the person. So, acknowledgement could be, I am so grateful that you cleaned the kitchen. It's basically, expressing gratitude because someone else did something for you which you didn't have to do yourself. So, let's say even something as simple as, let's say your mom cooked a great meal, rajma chawal, and you loved it. It's not necessary that you have to appreciate the dish. It's not necessary that you have to say, oh my god, it's amazing, it tastes delicious. If it doesn't, it's okay. But acknowledging that the person did something for you is very important. And I think this is something which is like a tip for our parents as well, and which is something you can tell your parents as well, that they should continuously acknowledge the person's work. I think that really improves the relationship. And you will also see that you can also communicate this to the person, that I hope that you acknowledge that I do this for you. So acknowledgement over appreciation can also help to improve the relationship. The third thing, which is actually a no-brainer, is spending quality time. Now, it's not necessary that it has to be the person's love language, but quality time is something which I think everybody wants. And when we say quality time, I'm talking about actively listening. So being a good listener is one way of spending quality time, where you're like actually actively listening without fiddling or like using your phones. And I don't know, I mean, you must have also experienced this, because I have that. Let's say you're talking and the other person is on their phone and they're like, yeah, It's such a big turn off. You don't feel like talking and you're like, it's better if I don't talk to this person, or I just like journal about it, right? So actively listening and, like completely distraction-free attention to the person is also another way which I feel can actually improve relationships. And this also means not just with like your words, but also with your body language and with your tone and things like that. Also, when we talk about listening, a lot of people feel that listening means that let the other person talk, but that's not how it is. If you just do that, then it's not a conversation, it's not a discussion, it's just a one way talk. So it has to be it has to be a conversation, right? So it has to be two-way. So it's not necessary that you only have to listen to the person, but you can also contribute. You should also talk about your life. Otherwise, the conversation will become extremely boring, not for the other person, but definitely for you. And the last thing, the fourth thing which I would want to suggest is boundary setting. This actually requires another video, because it's such an important thing in today's time. And I will definitely cover it sometime. For now, in brief, what is boundary setting? Basically, setting boundaries with people around you, expressing to them what is acceptable for you and what is unacceptable. This is usually based on your value system, on what you think is right and wrong, and on the basis of that, setting boundaries and communicating. Very important, communicating your boundaries to the other person. To give you an example, let's say you're with your friends and you don't like to gossip about people, but you see them, constantly, talking about some other person in a very negative way. So you can definitely do this. You just have to say that, what, I don't like to gossip and I don't want to be part of this conversation. Or let's say, you don't like to talk about politics. So you can always tell your friends that, guys, please don't talk to me about politics. And they know that, okay, with this person they cannot talk about politics, or with this person they cannot joke about certain things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in setting boundaries. It's very important for your own mental health. So let's say even with your partner, it can be something like, or even with your parents, which is something that I have done, that I'm not going to touch your phone, you will not touch my phone. It's a clear boundary and everybody follows that. So, and it keeps things very simple. I think it makes your life stress-free, and it genuinely improves your relationship. Believe it or not, when you start setting boundaries with people, when you tell them that, even with like people in the office, that I will not discuss my personal life, and if they question you, you'll be like, I have told you I'm not going to be discussing my personal life, and it ends there. You might feel that, oh my god, that person's going to feel bad about it, but actually it's okay. As you grow up, you realize that boundary setting is so important. And I hope that you can sit down and actually write down what are the things which are acceptable for you, what's unacceptable for you. And it comes with time, but definitely set boundaries, and believe me, it will definitely improve your relationship with people. So I hope these 4 things help you in improving your relationships with people around you. If you also have some ways which you feel can help to improve our relationship and improve the communication with other people, then don't forget to share it. I can't wait to hear from you. Take care. Bye bye.